one of the things I started doing with my gratitudes is I'm starting to be thankful for some of the things that I would label perhaps the parts of me that I don't like that much. For example, I'm really hard on internally. I'm hard on everybody. If you're around me, I have a high expectation of you to show up at your best, but I'm extremely hard on myself. And so I have a hard time. My internal dialogue is
crippling.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And I hate that part of Rob. However, I am thankful for that part of Rob because that's the reason that I am successful. That is a reason that I have the charity that I have and the friendships that I have and the physical body that I have. It's time to get out of bed, you fat ass. You know what I mean? Like that language, that hard language has given me so very much. And so I'm grateful for that taskmaster, the whip guy. I'm grateful for him. But in so being grateful for him, I can also give him some grace. Like, right. I can appreciate your wanting to go hard all the time, but today is Sunday and go have breakfast with your family and have an extra cup of coffee and play on the floor with your kids.
It's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act because we all have that guy at some level. We have some guy in the back that is just like, it's because you're not smart enough. It's because you fucked up. It's because if you were in better shape, if you didn't eat that extra piece of cake, all this language. Okay. All right. Okay. And so it's something that I've been working on is to be grateful for the parts of me that perhaps I need to work on because those parts there's value in all parts. And as I'm discovering how to love myself more fully so that I can love my wife and my children more fully, I'm realizing that I can't hate a part of this person and love them as well. You know what I mean? Like, and that applies to us as you know what I'm saying? Like it applies to us.
I feel that 100%. The internal dialogue, man, brutal. And I'm trying to show myself some grace.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Be thankful for that voice.
It's incredibly hard for me to do.
You wouldn't be here without him.
No, I am, because I agree with you. This is how stuff has gotten done.
Yeah.
This is how I've accomplished everything, right? But at the end of the day, like, I expect such perfect perfection all the time on anything that I touch, and it's not sustainable.
Well,
to your point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this to a young father, that is easily translatable into your children. You will have that high standard for your children. You cannot do that. You can't have that standard for your partner. I can't show up and expect, man, I've been working all day and there's dishes in the sink. God damn. Like, what have you done all day? Like that kind of thinking will undermine your ability to have a healthy relationship with anybody. And you will push away the people that you love the most because that language will flow out more easily around Emily and your baby girl than it would me.
That's a huge golden nugget. That's huge.
That is massive. Yeah.
That's been a struggle in my relationships for a long time. I'm so critical. This has to be done perfectly. We got to get this done. Why is the house dirty? Well, I have 3 little kids. It's not a big deal. I can have grace that you struggled this morning and didn't get out of bed till 10, whatever. That's okay. Yeah, so that's a huge golden nugget, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, how do you do that? Then how do you do it more effectively? How can you be more conscious of that?
It's just been, I've gotten a lot more patient the older I get, And I've gotten used to it's okay to let those stupid little things go that they're out of my control anyways, you know what I mean? I can't keep forcing my kids to constantly clean up after themselves. It's not sustainable. It's unrealistic.
I'd like to turn it more inward if I can point my finger at you just for a second. Like, you need to be nicer to Jared.
Right.
And that's where it starts. Like, if you can start with figuring that out and being like, well, I really did the best I could today.
Yeah.
And maybe not my best ever, but today was still a pretty good day. I got out of bed. Nothing caught on fire.
Right.
Sometimes those layups that I'm giving myself on the MVP are those little like gifts that I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. But it's that forgiveness of myself that I'm working on, and it's okay. That's okay. And there's a person inside you, and I listened to a guy. He's a Zen master. He talks about that voice. The whip master is actually your inner child, and that inner child is has to be a certain way, has to be fair, has to work out that way. And that little person took good care of you for a long time.
Yeah.
Brought you up and protected you, like when it was time to get to practice or when it was time to show up and do the things that you had to do. That little person like did some great stuff, but now those rules of perfection,
The
that
black
hardship,
and white is gone, and you're in the gray now.
yeah, now it's time for the adult to show up and be like, man, I appreciate that you think
Have
that
some grace.
everything needs to be done perfectly and it has to be done your way or the highway, but you know, let's take a breath here and think about this for a second.
That's been my absolute biggest downfall is, like, to your point, what I expect from other people coming in, right? That is this much compared to what I expect out of myself.
Right.
And there's no way anybody could live up to what I put on myself.
Not even
Toxic.
close.
It is.
It's toxic to you. It's toxic to M. It's toxic to your little girl. It's toxic all the way around. And when I become more,
Can we call it generational unhappiness?
we could call it generational unhappiness. But the Zen master that I listen to, the practice that I'm learning is that I've given this person, the taskmaster, this unreasonable little temper tantrum throwing motherfucker, a name, and it's Robbie. I call him Robbie. And when Robbie's acting up, man, Robbie's in a bad mood. He's hungry. Yeah. when it didn't work out the way that I want, God damn it. You know, it's that little boy throwing a temper tantrum. Think about that little
It's
boy.
so dumb to be, and then when you realize that you're doing it, you're like, so stupid. Why am I doing this?
Give him a name, Robbie. Man, I appreciate you, bro. You're doing some good
Yeah.
things, but you need to sit down right
Chill
now.
out.
Yeah.
Go have some ice
You're on
cream.
break. I got this.
But
I
the
got you,
adult's
bro.
back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly right.